Let me start with the phrase which every Ukrainian knows. We will support Ukraine. We will be with Ukraine as much, as long as it's necessary. Isn't it time to rephrase this phrase in like, we will provide Ukraine with everything it needs to win this war?
I mean, it's a question to who should do that. I don't think, who should rephrase it, because we hear this, we hear it from our Western partners, including the United States. And I think when they say that we're going to support Ukraine as long as necessary, I guess that what they mean is that, they are ready to support us long term, but I'm not sure that they are ready to say that they are going to give us exactly everything, because, first of all, it's just logic. You cannot promise something that you don't have, because we all know, and it's no secret that European countries are struggling to provide Ukraine with all weapons that we need.
Because they don't have enough.
Because they don't have enough, and because they were not ready for...
Or maybe because Ukraine doesn't know about the quantity of the weapon they have.
Even if we know. I mean, the war on such scale it's something that the world and Europe hasn't seen since the end of the Second World War, and they are not ready for that. So, of course, they cannot say that we will provide everything that you need, because, they understand their limits and their limitations.
Why I'm asking you, because I think this phrase has already turned into symbolic one.
It is. I mean, it has always been political and symbolic, but this phrase still, I think it's more accurate than the one that you think should be rephrased to, we will because it's better this way than if they say that we're going to give you everything you need, but then they will not do that, and they will break their promise.
Yeah. We're talking about meeting, G7 meeting, which was recently, and what do you think? Can Ukraine rely on the decisions of this meeting, because it's not an international organization. They have not, it hasn't even a charter, and all decisions are advisory.
Yes, it is a sort of political club that was created, I guess, in the context of the Cold War by the countries that are often called the West. It's the United States and their allies. At some point, Russia was the member of G7, but it was more like it was more a situational thing than ad hoc thing than a long-term commitment, as we saw. Because it was not long when Russia started to pose a challenge to the United States and their allies, and so they kicked Russia out of G7. But still, even if it is a political club with advisory consultation functions, those negotiations that happen, on this platform, they have a very, I think that they are very important as, for coordination of our Western partners' efforts in supporting us. So, I mean, in a way, yes, this is one of many formats that our Western partners have, where they can negotiate what their strategy and coordinate their, decisions, their actions that they take in order to support Ukraine. So I would say that Ukraine can rely on such platforms, but of course, this is only G7 is not, because there is this I think a misleading notion, perception in Ukraine of G7 as some kind of a world global summit, that have the power to make decisions on a global scale, which is not the case, because G7 is, as I said, is a political club which unites mainly, the so-called Western countries. But for example, when but we cannot perceive G7 as a global platform that, for example, can affect such non-Western regions, non-Western countries and partners that we also need, such as China, India, Pakistan. They cannot involve them. So I would say that Ukraine can rely on G7 in that part, in the part which is related to our Western partners' strategy in supporting Ukraine. But if we're talking about more global politics, no, it's not the case.